So for those of you that don't know, I do photography as a side hobby and as a full-time college course. So the other day when I was up just before college, I met up with a group of friends and I took some photos. So I thought this week I'd do a nice little chill video, nothing super gaming wise or anything, and I just upload my editing process. The thing I enjoy about photography mainly is the creative process and how I go for everything. So I thought I'd show you how I edit photos, what goes through my head when I edit photos, and how I edit photos within Lightroom. If I teach you anything during this video, that's brilliant. I like that. If you want any other tips, please subscribe. Please let me know if you want to know anything, and I'll be happy to make a full video on it or drop it here and there. Without further ado, I think I should stop waffling and we should start editing the photos. So I thought while I remember, I'll just tell everyone the camera and lenses I used. On this video, I used the Canon EOS 4000D, and the two lenses I used was the 18-55mm kit lens that comes with the camera body, and I used a 50mm prime. Both these amazing lenses. You'll see the focal lengths in the final images and everything. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy the video. So here we are, everyone. Here's all the photos. Took 79 in total. Some of it's a college work, some of it's not. And I'll just take you through how I edit some of them and how I like editing them. So without further ado, just go to develop. So this is one of the first photos I took. If you ask me, this was, I think I can get like the metadata and everything. Like, there you go. Taken on full 55. Here's my settings here: ISO 100, 55 on focal length, 5.6 aperture, and a shutter speed of 1/1025th of a second. So it's a really bright photo, I think, because the sun was up around here. But I took this photo of this homeless man sleeping over here. I thought it was just quite a powerful image as it stands, and I took 3 of them in total because I'd never take the same with one shot. But you can clearly see what I'm going to do though. Come in here, because I can never really visually straighten my images. There you go. Obviously I have a guide across here, these steps. But what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to crop it in a little bit to like about, if I can get away with it being like that. Just so I don't get that sign in. Like that. No, we need to push this bottom in a little. Like that? Yeah, so if I write that. But what I was thinking with this one, maybe if I shove it in black and white, because you can really see this man sleeping here. First thing I do, I don't want to do any graduated filters with this because I really like the contrast of light to dark up here. Like, it's very evenly spaced, if you ask me. So what I'm going to do, maybe up the exposure a little bit like that, so you can really see what's happening. That's it. Contrast, make the darks a little bit darker across his body. Like, as you can see, light hits him here. See the darks on the back. Highlights, move these up, and that just makes the road. Okay, I want it a little bit darker but a little bit lighter. Shadows, I think if anything I want to up the shadows a little bit so you can really see him here and the contrast around him. If I could have it just so I could have him as the main focus, I would, but I kind of like how he is around it. But what's something I'm realizing now, I want to make it a little bit more even, like that. So it's like even space between, you know, so he's a real, your eyes drawn to him. Blacks, I don't think I really need to change these, maybe that a little bit. Don't really want anything texture shot. Must add some, maybe a tiny bit of clarity to make these brighter. Come down here, tone curve. I don't really use tone curves quite a lot, but if you want to start using tone curves, start using tone curves. I just kind of stray away from it. But black and white, if I want to play around my reds, here you go. This would really affect like his back pattern here. So let's zoom in, and this like only really affects him because obviously he's a white male. Zoom out a bit. Oranges. There are a couple of oranges in the shot. Obviously, I kind of want to up it a little bit. That would do. Yellows. Oh, because the sun was out, it would be a very yellow shot. Let's drop it a little bit. Pardon me. No greens in this photo. Not any blues. Oh, the blues on the window up here. If I could black out the windows. Oh, let's make them really white because that's like a nice contrast, I think. Purples, not really any in there. Oh, I do kind of like that. And magentas, there's none in the shot. So that's mainly how I'd go around editing it. I wouldn't ever come really down here and like go to details and all that because it's just not who I am. So this is how I'd about edit a photo. You can see steps lead up to him. He's the main focus. You can see the man sleeping. Nice contrast from light to dark here. That's typically how I'd edit a photo. one of these, this would be a really nice photo that I would consider posting to Instagram because of the contrast and how powerful it could be. And yeah, overall I think that's a pretty solid shot, and if I wanted it in colour I'd put it in colour, but I prefer it in black and white, so I'll keep it in black and white. And if you want to see a before and after view, here you go. On to the next photo that I really enjoy. This is of my good friend of the channel, good friend of the channel, George Jervis. I'll link him down below again. Thank you for being his model. Thankfully, he was really nice. He got a 50mm prime, and the aperture is what? It says f4, but that's definitely a scam. It is not f4. I'm sorry, like that is lovely aperture, and I just love it. So first thing we do with any good photo, straight. Well, I'm sorry, Lightroom. What the fucking hell? Okay, apparently it's straight already, which I'm quite surprised about. Do you know what? I like it. But do we like it in colour or black and white? Personally, I like it in black and white because of the contrast, but I think we're going to edit this in colour. See, temperature, I can cool it down a little bit so it's not as harsh. Bring that back to normal. Exposure, I think if drop it. Hello George in dark. George is very overexposed. What I like is the contrast across his face. Bring it up, bring the highlights out a little bit, highlights in, out. There you go, look, he's coming back to life now. So like, see here, see up here, like you can, fucking that was a lot of this, sorry George. You can see like there's a lot of overexposure, so we drop down the highlights to bring some skin tones into him. Shadows, if we up them a little bit, there you go, look, bring the George back to life. Full face, lovely. You would have never thought that it was literally like this at one point. Bring this up, looks natural. See him in his all in all his beauty. Here you have all the whites. Don't really need to adjust the whites. The blacks behind him. Don't really need to adjust them. The texture on this photo is mad. Like if I do that, it seems really weird. Dazed. No. Okay. Clarity. Don't want any clarity in the shot. Not really. If anything, I want to blur it a little bit because, like, obviously, don't want to do me boy dirty. Vibrance, I ain't going to touch that. Tone curve, not going to touch that. We're going to play with HSL though. The hue, I don't really touch hue. I only touch hue if I want to really like exaggerate in editing. So I only really touch saturation and luminance. So go to saturation. Obviously it's going to change the red tone behind him. Really bright, completely gone. Also change the colour of his lips, which is kind of scary. So therefore I think if I just bring up the reds a tiny bit, maybe. No. It's like that's like really bright. I'm sorry, it seems really weird when I zoom in on people's faces, but I kind of like that. Let's make it pop a bit more. That's it. Oranges. George comes up as orange apparently, which makes no sense to me. Orange is perfectly fine. Any yellows in the shot? Okay, so the yellows behind him. See that, and that. I prefer that. Now he is the main focus. Any greens in this photo? There are on the glass back here. You have this green. Oh, you have this green here and this blue here. So if I drop all the greens, it looks black and white behind him. But obviously I want a bit of colour in the shot, so we're going to put that forward to about there. Aquas. Any aquas really? Oh, just behind him again here. As you can see, grey, not so grey. Put them in a little bit. Blues. Here's where you can really exaggerate. Here's a deep blues, light blues. There is that. I like this contrast between blue and green behind him. That's really nice if you ask me. Purples. He's wearing a lilac jumper, but I really like the lilac on it. Obviously, I'm exaggerating it. Magentas, none in the shot. So overall, I think this is a pretty good photo. I'm happy with it. I think he would be happy with it if I send it to him. There's another thing here, like this is roughly the same photo. So this is something that you can do if you feel like really lazy at the moment. You can go copy, just go copy here, and just go paste. Basically, same photo, both edited. But obviously, we're going to stick with this one. Let's just Control Z that real quick. It hasn't been touched. So this is it. If I want to play around with it a little bit, crop it in, maybe this side a little bit, crop it in, give him a bit of equality on the face. There you go. George is now the main subject. I'm really happy with that. And I think that's about a finished photo there. So this is another photo. It's like not really my style of photo. This is the agricultural architect stuff. I took this in black and white because I shoot in RAW. 35 f3000. I don't really like it in colour because it's a very dull colour photo if you ask me. So I'm going to put it in monochrome, black and white. Didn't know that was a thing. Right, temperatures of it. This does nothing. Ooh, I really like that. Looks nice. Okay, now so I can adjust this. Makes it even lighter. Okay, so one reason I took this. See this a Porsche down here. I wanted to take photos of it, but when I walked closer, there was people in it. I didn't want to like creep them out, so took it from a distance. And I really like this because you can see all the contrasting angles and lines and everything. I really like it to the point where it almost points down to this Porsche. Look, like boom, boom, boom. I'm drawn to down here, but I mainly look at this building across here and just the middle of the photo round about here. So quickly go in here, see if it needs straightening a tiny bit, very tiny bit. I always do auto for the fact that obviously my human eye isn't as good as judgment as anything, but play the exposure if I want to. Too bright, too fucking dark. Okay, down here, I don't know if I want to add a graduated filter. If I wanted to add a graduated filter to anything, it'd be the sky, or brush strokes to the sky. But I personally like the sky and how it's completely white. In fact, if when I go here, oh, obviously because I fucked it, thingy. So let's go to here and let's go. Look, the sky's blue anyway. So anyway, back to my original view. Exposure haven't really changed, but I think I'm gonna up it. Let it down a little bit like that. Contrast of a black to white in this I love, so I'll keep this dark. Highlights, so this is just gonna dim this a little bit. I want to make it a little bit high, really high, to exaggerate the whites. Shadows, I don't want to exaggerate them too much to make it unrealistic, but I definitely want the shadows there to show the contrast between light and dark in the photo. Whites, keep as it is. Blacks, I don't want to up these, so maybe up them a little bit like that. Texture, there's quite a bit of texture in the shot already, but I don't really want to add any. If anything, I'd add a little bit of clarity just to really emphasize this around here. Let's scroll down again. Ignore tone curve like I always do. Black and white mix. Here's the reds because it's a really light photo. Get it like this. Go red, orange, oranges. Oh, I like that. Yellows. No yellows in the shot. Any greens? No greens in the shot. Any aquas in the shot? Nope. Any blues? Nope. Any purples? Nope. Any magentas? Nope. All in all, let's do a before and after. Here you go. Oh, massive bit. Wait a minute. What the fuck have I done? Here. Oh, what's happened here? That just deleted all my settings. Here you go. So here everyone is the before and after of the photo. Before here, after here. For some reason I'm really liking these photos in black and white, apart from this one I edited of George back here. I really like these photos in black and white. Don't know why. But this is typically how I'd edit a photo like this. So from here on out, I'm going to time-lapse me editing some of these photos, because at the moment these aren't the most brilliant photos, and I'll come back to you when I have a really nice photo and I want to show off some of my better editing, if you ask me. So I'll see you once I time-lapse over. So I thought I'd come back now, just because I want to try and make this window here quite dark, because I want to, first off what I want to do is, I want to select this, zoom into this a little bit, maybe zoom in a tad like this, and really come over here. That's it, so I can just get this. I fall in love with this shot here, because I just like it. zoom in here. So I just want to get my brush. Let me get my brush size and lower it down a little bit because I'm going to be very delicate here. I'd like to make this window almost black. So if I come down along here, come across here, ignore that, come round, paint all this in. Mainly because I just don't like this like retail price sign. Like if you ask me, ruin a bit of the photo, come down here, come down across here. So this is something I normally do with my photos. I just touch them up and brush them just to make it nice. Come in here, come between here, just really emphasize around here. That's it. And then we'll come up here. That's it. Now what I'm going to do, get my exposure, and look, you can have it completely dark. What I want to do is just open up the window. Oh, didn't mean that. Update that one. Zoom out a little bit so we can get a natural feel for the photo and how, say, I would view it in like, so if I was viewing it as a viewer. Let me drop the contrast a little bit, down the exposure, not too incredible, just so it's bearable, and you can see there's not a lot of brush strokes on it, because obviously that's it with full contrast, that's it with no contrast, but I think we're really going to struggle with this one. If I down the highlights a little bit, down the shadows, not too much though, so it's like unbearable, make it just so it's a bit dark. Obviously you can come in and just like brush around here, make it nice and dark down here as it's intended to be, like brush around and in. That's it. This is really going to pop out though. As if I want the texture in it, go there, but obviously I don't want to do that. Black, so I could really just black out the window, but that don't look natural. So just adjust that white a little bit. There you go. Come down here, drop it like that. Done. And let's just zoom out. Here you go. Here is the final edited photo. I actually really like this because of the bokeh from the water. This is actually a splash of water going up. I really like this. Overall, maybe I'd crop it in a little bit like that. Perfect. And I would say that is Instagram ready. Obviously when I was taking these photos on my viewfinder, I had it in monochrome, so I didn't see a single bit of colour. So obviously when I click on them for the first time and they come through in colour like this, really takes me by shock, and I'm like, oh, okay. So what I want to do here, straighten it out, but also I kind of don't want this car in shot, because if you ask me it ruins it a little bit. So it's a really slim photo at the moment, but I don't want any distractions in it, so I think I'm going to crop it down a little, like that. Okay, the reason I took this is because the bikes. It's very cluttered, it looks like chaotic, and you can look inside here and you can see all the different varieties of bikes. You've got all the mountains, there's a BMX in here somewhere, I'm sure. I think I saw one on the day. But for those of you that don't know, obviously I BMX, I ride bikes. This is like a really nice thing to see. What I want to do actually is just crop up this here and inside here. Perfect. So we're just gonna edit this. It's a bit chaotic. I'll time lapse it. I won't go into detail with it, because if you ask me, this photo is really nice as it is. Just want to emphasize some things, darken some things. We'll be done. So I'll time lapse this and I'll see you after with the finished product. And with that all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, that is the final image. I'm really happy with this, I won't lie. Can I do it? Yes, this is the before, this is the after again. Obviously, I take it in black and white, so I'm going to edit it in black and white. That's what I'm always going to do. I'm really happy with that, I really like that. And again, final product, you'll see it on Instagram. With that said, everyone, I think after going through the batch of photos, that's about it. If you did Did we hear that fly past? Jesus Christ. But with that said, I think that is the final batch of photos edited. If you want to go see them live, they'll be on JT Media 03 on Instagram. I'll have that link down below, and I'll have a thing on screen at the moment. If you did like what you saw today, please leave a like and a comment below if you want to see more content like this. I'd really like to do a point of view shooting in the local city video, see what it's like, see how I feel. I'd also really like to bring a point of view BMX video into the ideas sheet. But without further ado, that has been today's video. I hope all of you enjoyed. If you did like today's content, please consider subscribing. It helps me out more than you think. Thank you for 51 subs. Even though it's not a lot, it's a lot to me. It means a lot to me. Thank you everyone for the recent support on the videos. It means more than you think. And I hope you're all having a good day, evening or afternoon. And without further ado, I will see you all in the next video. Have a blessed one, and I will see you soon.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage.